Okay, you've been there, right? A kid hits you with one of those questions that's deceptively simple, like, why is the sky blue? Or how do fish breathe? They're brilliant questions, but man, they can be tough to answer on the spot. Well, today, we're going to look at a super interesting new AI tutor called Curio that's built for exactly that. But the really cool part, the thing that makes it so different, isn't what it does, but how it does it. See, it's not just one big AI brain. It's actually a whole team of specialized AIs working together, kind of like an editorial team. So let's pull back the curtain and see how this whole thing works.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about why kids' questions are so tricky. Then we'll meet Curio itself. After that, we'll dive deep into its AI editorial team and watch it think in real time. And to wrap it all up, we'll look at what this could mean for the future of learning.
So let's kick things off with a situation that I'm pretty sure everyone, and I mean everyone, can relate to: the wonderful, sometimes baffling challenge of a kid's endless curiosity. So, picture this. An 8-year-old looks you right in the eye and asks, how do plants eat? They don't have mouths. I mean, what a great question, right? It's so creative, so observant. And you can't just give a one-word answer. This is that little spark of curiosity you really want to fuel, not put out. And here's the thing. For kids, say between 8 and 12 years old, finding good answers is surprisingly hard. You go online and most stuff is either way too complicated, like scientific papers, or it's just a video you watch passively. You can't ask it questions back. So the real challenge is, how do you give them a satisfying answer that actually helps them learn? And that's exactly where this project comes in. So let's meet Curio, the AI tutor that's been designed from the ground up to tackle this very problem. So what is Curio? Well, at its heart, it's an interactive digital tutor. Its entire reason for being is to take big, complex topics, whether it's science or history or whatever, and explain them simply. You can think of it as having the patience and, yeah, even the enthusiasm of one of those teachers you never forgot. Now, to get this right, the creators knew that any good answer has to check 3 really important boxes. First, it has to be age-appropriate, simple language, easy to understand. Second, it's got to be interactive, so the conversation can keep going. And third, and this is a big one, it absolutely has to be reliable and fact-based. Because if you mess up any one of these, you're either going to confuse the kid, or worse, you end up giving them wrong information. The stakes are pretty high. Okay, so how on earth does it manage all of that? This is where things get really, really cool. See, instead of relying on one massive do-it-all AI, Curio is built more like an editorial team. It's made up of several different AI agents, and each one has its own very specific job to do. And this is the blueprint. It really is like an assembly line for crafting the perfect answer. So a kid's question comes in, and the project manager AI grabs it. From there, it sends the task down the line. First stop, the researcher. Next up, the writer. And the final stop before it goes out the door, the reviewer. It's a whole process. All right, let's meet the team one by one. First up, we've got the researcher. You can think of this AI as the super diligent, fact-checking librarian of the group. Its only job is to go out and find the best, most accurate information. And get this. This is part of the actual prompt they give the AI. It's just plain English. It says, you are an expert researcher for children's education. How cool is that? It's literally told to use Google, find 3 to 5 good, kid-friendly sources, and just report back with the facts. It's not trying to write the final answer. Its job is just to gather the intel. So, just to recap the researcher's job, it hits the web, it finds trusted, kid-safe sources, and then it packages everything up into a nice, concise research brief. Then it's on to the next specialist. Okay, so once that research brief is ready, it gets passed over to the next member of our team, the writer. This is the creative genius of the group, the one who makes the facts fun. And again, just look at its instructions. It's told you are a gifted children's author and educator, and it's told to be delightful and use analogies. But here's the really, really important part. It's told to only use the research brief it was given. This is a huge deal. It keeps the AI from just making stuff up or hallucinating because it's tied directly to the facts that the researcher already found. But we're not done yet. Before anything gets sent to the user, the writer's draft goes to one last team member for a final quality check. This is the meticulous reviewer, the editor that makes sure everything is absolutely perfect. And the reviewer is basically the ultimate safety net.
It's got this strict checklist it has to go through. Number 1, is it safe and kind? Number 2, is the language simple enough for a kid? And number 3, and this is critical, do the facts in the answer actually match the original research? It's this final step that makes the whole system so responsible. Okay, so we've met the whole team. Now let's see them in action. We're going to walk through how they handle that very first question we started with. How do plants eat? So you're about to see this 3-step process unfold. First, the researcher digs up the facts. Then, the writer turns those facts into a great explanation. And finally, the reviewer gives it that last little polish to make it perfect. Okay, step 1. The researcher gets the question and goes to work. It does its search and comes back with this. It's super concise, right? Just the core facts. Plants use sunlight, water, and air to make their food, which is a type of sugar. The process is called photosynthesis. And a key point, they eat sunlight, not the dirt. All right, now that brief gets handed to the writer, and look what it comes up with. It takes those pretty dry facts and spins them into this amazing sunlight chef's analogy. The leaves become kitchens, photosynthesis becomes a cool recipe. It's just so creative and fun. It did exactly what it was told to do. But here's where the reviewer proves its worth. The writer's draft is awesome, but it kind of jumps straight into the sunlight chef's idea. The reviewer looks at it and makes a small but really smart suggestion. Hey, let's start with a direct answer first, then bring in the fun analogy. The tiny change, but it makes the final answer so much clearer for a kid. And here it is, the final answer that actually gets sent to the child. It's direct, it's factually correct, it's safe, and it's got that wonderful sunlight chef's analogy. This is what you get when you have 3 specialized AIs all working together as a team. Pretty amazing. So, look, this is already super impressive, right? But what's even more exciting is where this technology could go from here. The team has a whole roadmap planned out. Okay, so what's next for Curio? Well, they're talking about adding something called agentic loops. That's basically a fancy term for letting the reviewer send the draft back to the writer for revisions, just like a real editor would. They also want to build a fully conversational UI. And get this, they're even thinking about adding an Illustrator agent to create little pictures and fact cards to go with the answers. This is really just scratching the surface. So what this whole project really shows us is that maybe the future of AI isn't about building one single, giant, all-knowing brain. Maybe it's about building these small, specialized teams of experts that can collaborate. Which leaves us with a pretty big question. It's not just about answering a kid's questions anymore, it's what else could we solve? What happens when every single one of us has our own personal, tireless research team ready to tackle any problem we can think of?